Okay. Hello, everyone. Good morning from Germany to you today. My name is Mike, and I am the co host of this podcast with my co host from Nigeria. And today we will continue the second version of Love, Power, and Migration. And this for us is coming actually from a deep place as a way to address some of the challenges that migrants face living abroad. Today I have with me two special guests who are going to introduce themselves shortly. But before we proceed, I'd like my co-host Mike to just briefly introduce himself, and then we go over to our guest speakers and we dive into the conversation for today. Mike, please.
Oh, thank you so much, Michael. As always, it's a pleasure to be on this podcast. I can't wait every Saturday. I'm always here on time to see what happens. So today is yet another very interesting topic, and I'm happy we're doing this with Israel and Tari. All right, thank you. That's all for now. I'm here in Nigeria, in Kaduna State, joining from Kaduna State in Nigeria. So that should be all for now. Thanks.
Great. So, Tari, please introduce yourself shortly.
Okay. Hi, everybody. I'm Terry Richards. I'm a lawyer. I live in Berlin, Germany. I think I've been here for like 7 years now. And yeah, I'm originally from Nigeria. And I'm happy to be here today.
I've always thought you're from Cameroon, Tari. I don't know why I keep
Wow, really?
Okay, Israel, let's hear from you, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Israel Oyetade. I'm from Nigeria. Studying here in Germany. Been here for like 2 years. I stay in Cologne. Yeah, I'm happy to be here as well.
Great. So there are countless programs about solving migration-related challenges, programs trying to help migrants do this, do that, help them, be meaningful in the society. But then I ask myself, how deep are these programs? You know, so Michael, this is the point that I am coming with in today's conversation, a bit different from the last one, but I guess I'll let you take over from here, anyways.
Well, this is Migration Truth, and here what we do is just unravel all the mysteries around migration in the most real form. It is balanced from a very balanced perspective, and like we have today, picking from the perspective of professionals like Tari and Israel who are here today to share personal experiences with us. So it is not like you hear on Facebook or other social media platforms. Here we explore the real truth and let people know what migration is all about, what to put into consideration. And today, like you said, we are talking about on a very, very serious topic. Michael, it will interest you as I continue to dig deeper into the statistics. They say on the national average in US, British, Indian population communities, and American, Indian, Asian communities, in terms of the diverse rate, it's about between 10%, whereas the national average is about 40%. Do you know that it is worse when you come to Africa? Africa is between 30, 40, only Africa. So, and when you compare all other indicators, our case, I don't know why our case is different. So maybe Israel and Tariq could tell us more why we are getting these records and reports from the census across Europe and America.
Yeah, maybe just to come in there shortly. So the point here is for Africans living abroad, the rate of migration is so high. Sorry, the rate of divorce is very high compared to back home. Is that correct, Michael? So,
Yeah,
and now we're asking ourselves, why
compared
is
to back home, compared to back home is higher. Compared to other continents like Asia in particular, it is still higher. And by the time you come to Africa, West Africa is higher. By the time you come to West Africa, Nigeria is higher.
Levato? What do you guys think?
So, in terms of the statistics, so okay, there's something about statistics. It just puts things into how will I put it, everything into brackets. So you mentioned the Nigeria stat, like it's a little bit higher than other African countries or the likes. What the statistics will not tell you is the number of the population of those that is affecting. Nigeria population is way higher than every other countries in Africa. So if the indicator is, let's say, 100%, if they are using uh, if it's a Nigerian population, let's say at 100%, maybe we have 1,000 Nigerians in a particular place. If they're using the same statistics, maybe Ghanaian, Togo, and the likes, they may just be maybe 100 or 200. And if they are putting it into statistics, obviously they won't say they just put everyone in the same bracket, like this is a country, this is a country, not the population number itself. So that's one of the problems that we have with this cyber whatever crime and the likes, that you just hear Nigerians are doing crime, Nigerians are doing crime. It's not like it's not happening in other countries, but it's just because we have the limelight, the name is there already. Like before anything, they be like Nigeria, 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 this and that. Like the number of population is much, so that's why it's more like obvious where you go. I'm not saying that it's not happening in the community or not. It's happening, but saying that like a little bit higher, it's just skew the perspective a little bit. Cause if 100 Nigerians are in a place, you may likely see maybe, let's say, 50 or 20 other nationalities. And from those other nationalities, fine, there will still be the bad eggs among them, but because their number is not as much as the Nigeria own, the Nigerian factor or the Nigerian population or the numbers will a little bit come up. So I think that's what I will say about that. But like it's not like it's not happening in the community. It's no fact it's happening in the community, yeah. But it's not like we have it higher than the other. That's just what I want to point out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think if you compare that to like the Asian community, because the Asians are also really, I think that the numbers definitely match, if not exceed, the number of Africans that we have as migrants when we look
Yeah,
at the Asian community. So
yeah.
there's obviously still a problem if
Mhm.
our numbers still exceed that of the Asian community, because then the numbers are quite
Yeah.
correlatable,
So comes
if I
down
might say.
the cultural upbringing as a Nigerian man. You know, we Nigerian, let's say, okay, the Nigerian man, we more like the traditional man, so to say. We accept or we take it like our woman must, not like must, but like the tradition of the man is higher than the women in home. Like we are the leader, they have to follow the lead and the likes. And from perspective, man is mostly the breadwinner of the house. Most of the cases, men are usually the breadwinner of the house. So, and with that, I mean, it's normal thing if you are the one providing at home. Most likely, the person you are supporting, you are protecting, must give you some level of respect. You expect some level of obedience and stuff like that from the woman. But when those people go abroad in another system whereby the wife is even more favorable in terms of law and the likes than the men, and most likely they also have almost the same opportunity to earn almost the same amount. When that I will put it, when that uh
Dynamic.
yeah, when the dynamic shifts and yeah, the level of power has been tilted a little bit. Say, okay, you earn this, I'm earning this, you work in 12-hour shift, I'm working the same 12-hour shift. How do you expect me that you go the same 12-hour shift and you expect me to come, you expect to come back home and I should be the one to cook for you again, I should wash your clothes, I should do I'm also human, I'm tired and stuff like that. Whereas back home it's not like that. Husband may go to work, make the whole money, the wife may just go to work 8 in the morning, come back by 4 p.m., maybe 4 hours or so. Sometimes it's even the husband that will open the shop for the wife and be like, yo, I'll be back by 5, you must be at home by 3 to cook for me. I'm the one that opened the shop for you. What are you doing? What are you selling that you can't come back home early enough? But in the overseas and everywhere out there, yeah, you have to punch in your hour, you have to work your hours completely before you come back home. So yeah, when those happens, there will be creeps in the dynamics, and yeah, I think that's one of the issues we are having, coming from the perspective of, yeah, supposed to be the leader, supposed to obey me, you're supposed to abide by what I say. And she is also like, yeah, I almost what you are providing, I'm doing the same thing. So there is less of what you can dictate to me anymore. So that's just
Yes, okay, Israel. Yeah, I think well spoken. That is just aligning with one of the key factors that was mentioned in that report, that the patriarchal establishments back at home in Africa now facing the egalitarian norms in Europe and America. These realities is one of the main factors that are causing the breach. And again, the report also states that for the counterparts from the Asian, the Filipino, the Chinese, the Indians, that they have a tightly knit community with a very strong support system, which still holds marriages, struggling marriages, whatever it is, there are kind of maybe they have a stronger support system. As against their Africa counterparts that tend to be more loose, they are not better organized. But for the Asian communities, they are better organized with strong, tightly knit support system, which help them to absorb all of these shocks and these differences because they are also exposed to all these factors and they still maintain this beautiful record. So that's it anyway.
yeah. So regarding that, uh, I've actually heard some that will be like, don't even try to bring, if like let's say it's the husband that come to Europe or travel abroad for the first time, like trying to like bring the partner home. They'll be like, just don't do it. It's not worth it because the woman will leave you, take your stuff, and you guys will later divorce. And to be fair, it's most of them speaking from experience of what they've seen or what they've heard as well. Some will even be like, once you have your partner here, don't even try to like let her associate with other black women here or like African women
Okay.
here, because they
Yes,
will
that's again talking about integration.
poison her mind to like do stuff and things that are not reasonable.
Okay,
So
maybe can I come in here? Actually,
yeah.
I think that what we're seeing is a problem with the entire structure right from home.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
picture this, right? If you have a family that is working in Nigeria, if you have a couple that have learned to grow, to love each other, to respect each other, they are fighting for a common goal, they see themselves as a team. I don't think that coming here, there's going to be clashes, there's going to be like challenges. But I think that the way that they approach those challenges is already a picture of how they have been approaching challenges before they arrived. So things are not,
Exactly.
somebody isn't going to, I mean, people switch, yes, but there's a build up, there's a foundation. People don't just wake up one morning and become somebody else. So the question is, how much of respect has a husband given his wife when they were at home? How has he treated her as a partner and as a human being? How much respect has she given him as well when they were there? How has she treated him as someone that's the leader of the home and treated him as her husband and her partner as well? So when you move here, you're looking at it that this is another opportunity that we have. This is something
yeah,
that's supposed to open even better opportunities for us. So how can we do this? Okay, maybe now I wasn't working before, but now I have to work. So if I have to work now, how are we going to plan our domestic life? Who's going to do what? Where are you going to step in? If you already have this foundation, when you come here, it's literally just adapting to those new challenges that you will experience. But if you're having issues like that, I feel like a lot of times the chances are you already had issues at home. The only difference is that now there's a society that's exposing those flaws that already existed. Okay,
Yeah.
so I think that it's not necessarily other people, it's not necessarily the new society that you're in, it's the foundation of the relationship that you've already done from Nigeria. And we know that most times in Nigeria, a lot of things are swept under the carpet, things
Yeah.
that should
yeah,
be addressed. Nobody's addressing it. There's physical abuse in the home. Everybody says, oh, it's fine. He's your
Yeah.
husband. Just try and stay. There's emotional abuse going on. There's even financial abuse a lot of
Yeah.
times, but nobody's saying anything. And then this person that is the victim, to be honest, could be the man or the woman, comes over here now. And there's a means of escape. They are going to take it. And then it looks like,
Right.
oh, you came abroad. This person has changed. This person, what were you doing before? So why is this person changing? Do you
Yeah.
understand? So it's
Yeah.
not a question of somebody now becomes, she now feels like I'm much better than, I mean, that happens. Don't get me wrong. That happens. But there's a foundation that you have built your marriage on. And when you come to a new place with new laws, with new structures, the flaws in that foundation are going to be exposed.
Yeah.
And
That's
that,
fine.
I think, is what the problem is.
Yeah. If I may just come in briefly, I think this connects back to what we talked about last week, part one.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
mostly goes down to communication and the foundation. Uh, Again, why did the two people come together in the first place? What brought the two of them together? How deep was the connection? And most important, how open and often do you talk about things? And I totally agree with Terry. This is also like really deeply rooted in the African culture. And we can see it between our generation and the generation of our parents. A lot of times I want to address certain things with my parents, but they wouldn't want to talk about it. Like literally. I know several times my dad would just hang up on me because I try to address certain things, and the dude just doesn't want to talk about it, you know. And I want to talk about it because I feel like it still comes back again, and I just keep reminding him. And this also goes further to, even the younger generation where they don't find a way to learn how to communicate. Um, yeah, but I would also like to now touch on when we look at people living abroad right now. Uh, One very important thing that I feel like it's not really addressed in Germany and yeah in the West when it comes to programs for migrants living abroad is when they talk about helping to solve challenges that migrants face, or when they try to reintegrate, like integrate them into the society, do this and that to make them feel this and that. I feel like most of these programs are kind of superficial in the sense that the true reflection of somebody comes from inside. And if you're happy as a person, then you become fully engaged with the society. Where I'm trying to go is this: a lot of the problems that they say that migrants, like you hear talks like, okay, the migrants are lazy, they're not working, they can't do this, they can't do that. They also the good stuff, but you mostly hear the bad stuff. I mean, that's also the reason why there's also this kind of change towards more the right wing's politics flying across Europe and also in the US because of whatever they feel about migrants. And then I always ask myself when there are programs to try to address these issues, how deep are those programs? What do you guys think? Do you guys see a connection to happiness, to love, to instability back at home? And when I mean back at home, I mean not like in Africa, but within the family of the couple living abroad, the migrant home and stuff. Do you guys see any connection there?
Um, I think that I think that first of all, like a lot of Africans, right, we do have an integration problem in terms of the fact that when we go to like now you're here. So I'm Nigerian, but I'm in Germany. I
Yeah,
cannot expect that my entire world, I cannot create a Nigerian world around myself and expect to be fully happy. Do you understand?
right.
You have to be able to look at what is here. How can I fit in to what is going on around me? And I think that that's like a lot of times where the disconnect is. And then it usually rolls out into like your job and your relationship because you now have this certain, so you're not exposed fully to all the opportunities that you are supposed to have, all the things that you can actually take advantage of because you've basically created a wall. Oh, I'm Nigerians. We don't usually do this. But you're here, but you're not in Nigeria anymore. You should be able to talk to people. You should be able to establish new connections. And another thing is that we do most times have a certain kind of victim mentality. Like we come. So, for example, I've seen people that, and this is not in any way to kind of step on anyone's experiences. I know that racism and all of that exists very well, but I think that most times we go into places expecting it. We're reading it into every reaction that we get. So, for example, imagine if you're walking on the road in Nigeria, right? And then someone pushes you. You'll be like, this person is not okay. This person is probably having a bad day. They are not okay. But
Yeah.
if I was walking here and maybe someone that's white pushes me, say, I knew it. It's because I'm black.
Yeah, you know.
It's
Yeah,
because I'm
yeah,
black. That's why ever since I came here, they won't let me rest. But the thing is that you have created a victim mentality in
yeah,
yourself. And that victim mentality will always take you anywhere you go. You're always kind of expecting that you're going to be disadvantaged. You're expecting that you will not get it because of your color. You're expecting that someone is going to take advantage of you. And all of that creates this sense of discomfort, discontent that then spills into your close family and your relationships. Because the more that you're open to people, not just people from your own community, but people from other communities, it also broadens your mind. It shows like the possibilities, the opportunities, how you think about life. And that that impacts how you are then living your life as a family, as a couple, and what you're bringing into. You can see how people manage their situations. You can see, for example, imagine if you're a couple and maybe you've understood all this culture and everything, and this is how you've been right in Nigeria. But imagine coming here and relating with people from other cultures, watching how they relate with each other. There are probably things that you would learn,
yeah,
and maybe you see like how they're navigating having kids with working, and you say, oh, we could do that,
yeah,
for us. But once you have created that entire wall around yourself, now you're stuck with what you know. What you know is not working, and so you keep having this continuous clash. So that's kind of what I think.
All right. So, Michael, if I could comment, I think I want to make a quick reference to what Israel said earlier, which somehow Tari also alluded to. Now, talking about structure, Tari says structure, but Israel explained it by further saying all this your mentality from home now meeting the reality here, and all that. So, and that could result into crisis. Now, I wanted to know from Tari, it appears that the legal system over there tend to create a lot of soft ground for divorce, as if they are just waiting for you to divorce, and then you can get all the love in the world showered on you. A lot of social safety arrangement nets to catch you, especially the woman wife. Also, I don't know if I could say it is unintentional over there. And then when these women say this, say, oh, well, all these kind of things, they are in place for me. They go, so from the legal point of view, are you guys trying to create a very serious legal environment? Because marriages are able to survive all this crisis back at home, like you say. Michael, if you could still recall, Ima was saying the woman will not come and say, I will show you. The partner is actually the partners, I will show you. And that is to agree with what Tari said, what she said, this person have a lot of things have been oppressed back at home. And when you come to this place where there are platforms where you can explode, it gets full abroad, creating a platform to weaken the marriage. I don't know, you understand what I'm trying to say.
I mean, so to be fair, right? I do think that, I mean, I haven't looked at the statistics just from, let's just say, just from like walking around. I think that in
Yeah.
Germany, we do have a lot of families that last a lot. I think I see a lot of old couples. So I'm assuming that these are couples that have actually been together for a long time. In my office, many of like my bosses, both partners in the law firm were they've been married for like over 20 years. They have kids, they're together, they're always going on vacation with their families and all of that. So just because there's a legal system that allows for certain things doesn't necessarily mean that it's encouraging a lot of things. Because a lot of times what we see is that usually in the home, when it comes to like domestic abuse and things like that, it's usually the woman that's the victim. So what the legal system has done is provide an opportunity for people to be able to avail themselves of a way of escape. And
mm,
to be honest, getting divorced in Germany is very hard and very expensive. It
Oh,
is not
really?
yeah,
it is
Really?
not easy at all.
Yeah.
Getting divorced for me
Wow.
is very, very expensive. When you look at the amounts that you pay, you will go back to mediation. I can assure you.
Wow.
You'll be
That's
like,
cheaper.
let's talk about this.
Okay.
But it's great to have those things because, again, that kind of goes back to what I said about sweeping things under the carpet. Because, for example, in Nigeria, you see somebody will go to the police and say, my husband beats me, say, what did you do? Go back home, go back home. But here, that's a very serious issue. It's going to be like, why are
Yeah.
you physically abusing this person? Do you understand? So these are not structures that are enabling divorce. These are structures that are protecting the most vulnerable in families, which
Okay.
is usually
Okay.
women and children.
Well said, Michael. Please, if I could now, for Israel, there's also this problem of second generational shift. You know, children also are another source of pressure for couples in Europe and America, whereby when you came in, you brought your children in this particular form. When they came in and they integrated and interacted with children from the West and other continents and countries, you start seeing different things. It begins to strain the family. What is your take on this issue? How can it be better managed? Because it's also another source of problem. I know personally of people who have faced this problem. The man is not saying, the woman is saying he wants to maintain this value. The woman is saying, no, this is the reality, and somehow it brings about strain, and they both part ways, for and against, for the children. What's your take on this?
Yeah, I mean, it's a normal thing for human. I think it's one of the characteristics of being human being actually, from primary and secondary school characteristics of human. We have this one called adaptation. So in any situation or any place we are as a human, we tend to adapt to new things that is around us. And for kids, I mean, they are in their formative years, whereby things are new to them. They are seeing new people, new things. They want to like copy, try it, and it's one thing with kids. If you tell them, don't do this, that's the same thing that they want to like. Why should I not do it? What is going to happen? Let me do it. Why are you saying I shouldn't do it? If you can't give a reasonable reason, a genuine reason for them not to do something, they'll definitely do it. I'll be like, okay, I'll just try and find out myself. So yeah, it's an issue, but it's just what it is. Even in back home, a parent can raise 2 or 3 kids, and they all won't just turn up to be the same. Even with the same system, with the same upbringing, the same food, the same school, they won't turn out to be the same thing. So I don't think it's an abroad thing or a location thing. It's okay. It
Mm.
can be amplified if you go somewhere else, but yeah, it's just a normal thing because you can't expect this kid to do the same thing, just what you ask them to do. Even back home when you are raising kids, it's not everything you tell your kid to do that they will do. If you have 2, 3 kids, they all won't do the same thing. One will be gentle, one will be harsh, and you are the same. You are the one that give birth to them in the same house, the same environment. Not to talk of you raise them elsewhere. They are saying different people. Oh, you said you can only they are only allowed times a day, let's say morning, afternoon, and night. But they say their friends maybe they only take food maybe every time that they are hungry, not necessarily morning, afternoon, night. So they'll come back home. Why are we only eating 3 times? Mommy, I'm hungry. But you just eat now. And my friend, they eat anytime they want. Back home, when we are little, we are only allowed to eat meat after we are done eating the meal itself. But almost in the West, you eat it anytime you want. It's your meat. Do whatever you want with it. And even if you are done with it, you can still go back to the pot and take another one. But back home, who send how? The one where I don't give you don't chop and you don't chop and finish with that. So if they hear from their friend from school, like my mom only give me one piece of meat, they're like, what's wrong with her? Some may even go and tell the police to call police is not hard. 911. So
Yeah.
Yes,
it's
okay.
just
So
the
now,
environment
okay.
they have.
So now, all right. Thank you so much, Israel. So Tari, this is an issue. Because the children, I was in this program, one of these podcasts, one of the sessions, Michael was telling me off stage that now there are privileges that his child, his son now, DK, enjoys just for being born there, which him, the father, does not enjoy. And now there are levels of control that he has over him. So that's already a second generational issue. Now, there are things you want to do with that child. It's not just about you be the father again. The government has some level of control over this child. And so you are kind of constrained. Now, this boy is beginning to bring about a shift in value system, what he wants and all that versus what you want. And it's bringing about strain on the marriage too. What's your take on this? How can this be better managed? And then to help these marriages too. Because sometimes,
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, right? I was talking to somebody recently. I said, bringing up a child here is by the grace of God. It's only God that can help you because, first of all, they don't have, and I mean, I'm sorry to say this, but they don't have as much like in terms of raising a child with good values. There's more of a laxity, like you grow up and do whatever you want to do. You grow up and be whatever you want to be. And for me, as a Christian as well, that's not it, right? I'm supposed to raise my child to grow up in the ways of God and all of that. So there's already that disconnect. Also, there's like a different idea of discipline. So discipline is not something that's very, very, looked upon, but it's something that's important. I think it just comes with the culture that they just have less discipline over their child here, right? Or over their children here than we have there in Nigeria. So unfortunately, there's that problem that you're going to have to face and figure out. But what you could do is, again, it talks again about adaptation. Because, for example, in Nigeria, it's just easy to say, if I slap you, you behave. And the child will set in line. But when you know that if you say, if I slap you, they go and say, oh, that's how, and they might not even, they might not even be doing it deliberately, right? It might just be like, oh, that's how my mommy now said she would slap me. So I now sat down and say, is your mommy slapping you at home? That's the problem. So what you would have to do is learn new ways of discipline. New ways of discipline that help you to instill the values that you want to instill in your child. So because also like it can't just be you have to learn more of like, it can't just be I'm your mother. You have to say what you must do what I say. Get away from here, because obviously that's not going to work in this society. I'm not saying that that's bad. I'm just saying that in this society now, that will not work. So the question is, how do I relate with this child in a way that they understand the values and they follow it? And I've been looking, just across like Instagram and stuff, just to see how some people, actually white people, raise their children and their toddlers to do like respect their values and things like that. And I just said that okay, there are different ways. It's probably going to be harder, and it's just like Israel said, to be honest, again, it's by the grace of God, because a child will become who the child is going to become. Sometimes you have actually done your entire best. So as a couple, what you have to do is that these are the constraints we have, but these are the values that we have and want to instill in the child. So how are we now going to do that? And now you see things like, for example, just like when I see, they'll say, oh, this child did something wrong, we're in timeout. I'm like, timeout what? I wish my parents gave me timeout. She used to go and stand somewhere and come back. When I finish standing, I'll come back and do what I want to do. Timeout, but I'm also seeing places where like maybe you talking to the child, maybe depriving them of something to say, and actually insisting on let them understand that there are consequences to their actions. The only difference is that now the consequence, you have to figure out what consequences will actually get to this child without it being within the confines of the society. So for example, it's just like I was watching a video, right? And then the lady said, if you say the child is watching TV and you say, we're going to end at 8 p.m. So at 8 p.m., you turn it off. Then the child starts crying. So many times it's like, oh, you start crying. Oh, yeah, watch small. You don't do that. So that way the child learns that my tantrums will not change the actions and the laws that have been set. So it's gonna take like some, because it's just easy to say if I, do something and then just make the child stop, and that may not be the best way now. So you have to say, no, I said 8 p.m. Somebody even in the comment section was suggested something, said, so maybe you give them like time and say, okay, we're turning off the TV in 5 minutes, so that so that you're not just abruptly going to stop it at the time. Say it's 5 minutes to 8, you have 5 more minutes, and then at 8 you turn it off. Once the child throws all their tantrums, tomorrow they will know that at 8 this thing is going to go off, whether I cry to the heavens. So by the third time, they will start adjusting. And normally, even children, after a while, they will be the one that tell you, it's 8, let's turn off the TV now,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so how you communicate. And then you also know that children, they do more than you tell them is what you do. So again, that comes again back to how the couple are actually relating. If you're always shouting at yourself, if you're disrespectful to each other, but you're expecting to raise respectful children, it's not going to happen. Many of the things now they will learn will be based on how does mommy react when she's stressed, and you screaming and shouting at everybody. Then tomorrow the child is throwing tantrums and you're saying, I don't know why this child is shouting every time, but that's what you're also doing. So when they learn how you handle stressful situations, how you respond if you're upset, how you respond when you're happy, and all of these things, then it's also easy for them to copy that and learn. So it just has to be like the couple they have to figure out a way, look at their situation and say, now we're in a different situation, but how are we going to do this? Although I have heard of stories also where values have changed. So the wife is like, please don't do this to my child, and oh boy. How did we have values from the beginning that they just suddenly changed to that? So that's kind of like my take on this matter.
Oh, what's you, Michael? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think this is one key part that really causes a lot of strain in relationships abroad, be it marriage or just partner living together. Because yeah, it's also very common that two people are living together, not necessarily married, but they have kids, they're bringing up the kids, they decide to stay together. And then you see that difference regarding how to raise kids. So one is a bit more leans towards the Western system, and then the other also a bit more lean towards the African system. And then they they tend to raise the kids a bit differently. It all goes back again to your foundation, your communication, like being clear about what you want to do as a parent. I mean, and I think that's actually one key part that things read that you begin to test your stability in a relationship or in a marriage. Because when it's just the two of you, it's all nice and sunshine. But then the kid comes, completely different. It's next level because the kid comes with its own requirement, attention and needs and tantrums and everything else. So if you already did not have a strong foundation and established way to communicate things, then it's not going to get any better. What I would just like to add on this would also be again, because for me, I'm very concerned about when people try to say they're solving problems of migrants, how deep do they go? All the programs I've seen, maybe I'm wrong, but I haven't really seen some that try to touch on these matters. Because again, the way I'm going to work and be productive in my professional space would really depend a lot on how I feel at home. If I had a good morning and all, it's going to be reflected how I make calls with the customer, how I talk to my colleagues, which essentially would also affect my productivity in labor. And if it's a bad day from home and all, it just continues that way. So the point I'm trying to make is um, there are probably no programs or just really few programs that try to address the root causes of these issues, because then it affects your performance, it affects how successful you become in the society, it affects all these issues of integration and all, because you need to have a calm head before you even think about any integration program or even learn the language or whatever, because you just have your plate full already from home. So I think what people have to do in this case would just recognize these things. They're going to happen and don't think they will solve themselves spontaneously. No, people have to take proactive measures. It could be as simple as, when would our kids start to go to the daycare or kindergarten? One partner wants after 6 months, the other wants 12 months, the other one says 2 years. where do we start from, and stuff like that. So I guess the point here to anyone watching, listening from wherever would be, you have to talk about these things and find a way and talk about them, of course, respectfully. Respect the vision or perspective of your partner. They respect yours as well, and you try to find a middle ground. Speaking like this just makes me realize that the relationship is like running a company. you know you 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 need to have the right communication skills and also the right mindset, and recognize that each person has a goal. It's like shareholders in the company, and everyone is, you know it's like you have 50-50% share equity in the company, and you all have a voice to say and all that. So if you want that company to go successfully, then you have to address the need of each of the partner.
Okay, so thank you so much, Michael. You've all said so well, because Israel did mention from the start, and I think you both alluded to what he said: adaptation. You have to adapt to this new shift in what you used to know versus what you have to know now. And I think what Terry have done is to further explain it and provide ways that this could be done, and which you've also done so well with that. So another serious issue that is bringing about this strain, based on this report, is pressure from home, pressure from the home country. For
Yeah.
instance, now, once you travel abroad, it's like, money don't come. Now, mother is calling, friends are calling, your relative, cousins are calling, and everything. And now, maybe the husband is sending money, and the wife is stumbles into one of these alerts or proof of payments. And what's this one for? What's this for? Or the husband has gone for one project or the other. And so, pressure from home is what they also said is a major cause of this, what is straining the African marriages once they move abroad. So, for those of you who are there, what are the ways that this could be better managed?
There's no better way to manage it other than you yourself knowing what you have, your financial status, and what you actually want for yourself. Problem no dey finish. If you don't know how to say no, yeah, they will just keep coming. If you can't just say no, it will just keep coming. And the problem is, once you said yes to one person today, tomorrow the person is coming back. That's for sure. It's coming back tomorrow. The other day is coming back. Next other day is coming back, because you said yes already to one. So the earlier you are able to say no, yeah, you will be enemy, you will fight, and that will be the end of it. But he knows that next time he cannot come back to ask again, because he already know he won't give me. He is not a good person. And it's not easy, yeah. But if you eat and you want to be giving, sure, you can start giving as much as you can. But I tell you, it will just keep coming. It will just keep coming, regardless of your situation. They don't want to care whether you pay your rent, you pay your insurance, or what's going on here. Back home, once you pay your rent once in a year, that's all. You do whatever that you want with it. There's nothing like get insurance or so. Yeah, before your salary comes in, you have to have budget. Okay, this is going for this, your rent, your insurance, this is for feeding and all. It's after when you make sure you secure the basic, like all the mandatory expenses, what is left. Okay, this is what I have left. If you are not able to like secure those ones, you are in trouble here. In my case, the accommodation I'm staying, I don't even see my landlord. Like it's from the city of Cologne. My monthly rent is taken in my account on the first day of the month. It's 00000. I mean, on the 00 of the month, that's when they deduct it. They don't want to hear that there's no money in your account or not. There must be money. If you don't pay, people are outside on the queue that need the apartments. Once you don't pay, just go out. Somebody else is coming. Back home, if you don't pay your rent, you still have opportunity to go and beg your landlord and caretaker, please help me. Next month I will pay. Next 2 months, nothing like that here. So if you are not if you are not so prudent with your finances here, nobody will teach you.
Okay.
And the problem from just keep coming. So you are the one to know which is important for you, which one is not important. Okay, fine. There's this thing they call the black tax. It's normal. I have my parents back home. Even as I'm a student, I'm still like helping a little bit with what I can afford.
Yeah.
Not this one comes, that one comes. My kid brother just maybe last month or so, my kid brother messaged me like he needs a new phone. He wants to change his new phone. Bro, that's not in my budget right now. I can't get you phone right now. I can't, not right now. I don't even don't even have it in mind that maybe next month. I don't even have it in my budget right now. That's just my own brother. So yeah.
All right. Okay, so Terry, now for you, from the female perspective, is it a question of transparency or principle? Because sometimes when the ladies get to discover that their partner is sending money, for instance, now a friend wanted to buy a land using me here, then moved to Canada very freshly, and then he wanted to buy a land. And then much later, not few, maybe after discussing with the partner, he got back to me and said, no, he has changed his priorities. And then I was in a tight corner. And so he was as if it was not a serious pressure to discontinue the transaction. So for the woman, is it a question of transparency or a question of principle or reality?
I think that
The mixture of all of them.
all of exactly, it's a mixture of all of them. Like something that we've all been saying really is that it goes back to what the foundation of this relationship has always been. How do you handle money? Finances cannot be when you guys have a family, your finances cannot be your own decision. Do you understand? Even this one that women will say, his money is our money, and my money is my money. Especially when you come here, everybody's money is everybody's money because because there's so much to do that you have to like contribute in. Do you understand? So it's not a question of not sending money home, but it's a question of, number one, what are your priorities? Your priorities has to be your family, this one that you're creating now.
Yeah.
So you can't be to the detriment of this family making strange transactions. And then you have to discuss it. Because, for example, I'm expected to take care of my family, and even when I get married, I'm still expected to take care of my family. But it's something that then you have to discuss with your partner to say, okay, so what's our plan? How much money are we budgeting for home affairs? Of course, sometimes emergencies will happen, and those ones, there's nothing you can do about it. That's happened. You have to find a way out. But there cannot now be a secret transaction that I'm making, sometimes very large amounts. It's not even like, okay, I just sent 120 euros that I used my lunch money to send back, like very large amounts. And then it's like that money came out of our savings. So if something happens to us now, what are we going to do? And it's just like Israel said, if you don't have savings when you are here, you're on your own. If you're at home, if you're hungry, there's no way you not go to somebody's house, you see food. Whose house are you going to go to here to be eating, or to say, let me stay with you small? Especially if you have a whole family, you have a wife, you have children. Like, so you have to balance your priorities, but you also have to be transparent to say, this came up. And you also have to be able to listen when you say, okay, this seems important, but I don't think it is as important as us doing this instead. It's just like, I was talking out to somebody about it, and the parents are just like, oh, you have to go and build a house at home. Are we planning to go back home? No. Are we planning to live there? No. So this house that you want me to build because others are building is for what exactly? Tomorrow you will now have the extended family. They have collected the house. They are now fighting with your own family.
Yeah.
So, meanwhile, you are now doing that, and you are cutting off things that you would have actually needed here. Why don't, if you want to even build a house, we are living here, we are planning to raise our children here. Why don't we start looking on how can we build a house here? How can we buy an apartment here? How can we take out a mortgage here? Do you know the funniest part is that if you have a house and an apartment or a mortgage here, and you finally decide to go back, just think first of all about the currency exchange. By the time you try to sell off maybe the properties or investments that you have here, you have much more than enough to be comfortable there if you go. But if you have something there that you want to relate back here, it's going to be much harder. So I'm not saying don't put your investments at home. I'm just saying make sure that you're fine here, you're comfortable, you and your family have a plan. And then you now use that plan. But if somebody is doing things, and you know, finances is literally one of the highest causes of divorce. If somebody's now doing things by themselves, that means you don't even care about your family, because why are you sending ridiculous amounts of money home when you know taking from our savings without our knowledge, when you don't know what tomorrow holds? That's so wrong. Like, from a male or female perspective, that is not
100%.
nice at all. Like, why would you do that? You know, it means that you have not prioritized this family that you have taken up here. I know that's
Mhm.
another thing, to be honest, with like many people, in terms of what comes first in my priority. If you've married somebody, you have married the person, that person is now your priority. So there's no this one is you have to be able to balance it, and then you have to be able to communicate it to your, just like Israel said, you have to be able to communicate that to your family, because if you keep trying to hide behind it, it will keep coming. But once they know that, see, this is it, oh, I've sent this money for this month, unless the winds have blown and the house has stumbled down, nobody should call me. By the time first 2 months, 3 months, after a while, everybody will also adjust. They will also then plan based on what they see that you are able to afford. So
Yeah.
that's my
Michael, over
take.
to you.
Yeah, for sure. Just to add to what both of them have said, most times we feel like, oh, if we don't do it, they're all going to perish, they'll die. Nothing will happen, you know? Because the thing is, even when something happens to you, life goes on still. So how
Exactly.
about that? You know, how about that? And it's again a question of what's your priority, what comes first. You know, what do you value the most? So I think you can be in a relationship and then be doing things in secret. It's just, yeah, it can't work. And again, where you are right now, this moment, that's your home. You need to feel good there. You need to be healthy. You need to be safe. Otherwise, you can't even help the people that you want to help. You know, if you're under stress here, all because you send everything that you have back home, what sense does it make? That's not sustainable, because sooner than later you can't send anything anymore, and then it brings everybody down, and it just logically doesn't make any sense. It's sad that you have to like teach your family's relatives or friends back home the hard way to understand this, but the true ones will finally understand. They will get it. Why? Because you tell them that, hey, I'm doing this thing for all of us because I need to be healthy, I need to be sound before I can have a way to pull us up together. And I think we should also have the approach of not just giving but teaching how to also become, financially sustainable. Because you won't live forever, and plus you're not um, like they also risk things that could happen to you, and you may not be in a position to keep helping them. So what happens then? So for me, my principle is always like, hey, I'm not about giving you fish. I'll teach you how to fish, because I think that's the best thing. That's what you need, you know, because maybe the water in my place where I'm fishing from could get dry. So what happens then? Then you're dead, you know. Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
so
I just want to
Michael. All right,
I
go
just
ahead.
add to what Mike said and on the issue. So last year I came in 2023 as a student, and I've been working since then. So last year I had an issue from my place of work. I was out of job for like maybe 3 months or 4 months. No
Mm.
work, nothing.
Yeah.
Had I not have my savings secured or have myself secured for good 3 4 months staying in Europe, no source of income. I have to pay my rent, I have to pay insurance, I have to eat. During that time, I still have to go to I think Belgium to do to renew my international passport. All those expenses out of my pocket with no income coming in. Nobody could. I mean, even if I call home to help me with any amount, maximum they find 500,000 they send to me. If they send it this month, will they be able to send it next month? No.
Yeah.
You just have to like, secure yourself on your own first. Nobody is coming to help you here. Then it's after you are secure yourself here. That's when you can remember somebody. Oh man, yeah, it's just do what you can afford to do. Not they need this, they come, they want that. it will just keep coming. It will just keep coming. It won't end. There's no ending to it.
Yeah, okay. Thank you so much, Israel. Thank you so much for your thoughts. It's been a wonderful time with everyone here. Michael, we're out of time.
Yeah, exactly. But thank you so much, Terry and Israel, for joining us today. It's almost an hour since we started. I think now we're going to like round up. But to everyone watching from wherever, thank you very much for tuning in from Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, and wherever else that you may be watching this live stream from. So far, we've had Tari and Israel joining us here in Germany. So, Tari, any final words that you'd like to say before we wrap it up on love, power, and migration, the whole change in dynamics and all?
Yeah, I mean, it's just to basically look inward and build on the foundation that you have wherever you are, because it's that foundation that you use anywhere else that you go to, you know. And if you're already abroad and you're facing the challenges, I think that there's never a bad time to start building the right foundations, to look back and recalibrate and say, what can we do better that we haven't been doing, before now, and how can we make this work? And just like Mike said, we need to have these conversations more in all, integration and all of that. We need to talk about all of these things more, what we're doing about ourselves mentally and psychologically, not just because most times, like you said, many of those actually focused on professional and getting a job, but these are also very
Yeah.
important topics that actually need to be spoken about more. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Thanks, Tari. Israel?
Yeah. I'll just on discussion of family. I'll just say both parties just have to like communicate. Like communication has to be on top notch. And I didn't know what it is, but I mean, to me, once you agree to be with somebody, like you are married, there shouldn't be any form of like a separate account, like you are hiding finances. Fine, you have your own money to like do whatever you want, but it has to be known to both parties. I mean, those are one of the key factors that cause problem even back home, not to talk of abroad here. Finances is one of the big factor when it comes to divorce and the likes. Both parties have to come together. Okay, this is how much I'm earning, this is how much you are earning. I mean, I didn't think there's, I mean, for US and the likes, I didn't know for them, but here in Germany, I think the tax system even incentivize you to be together because this tax class 3 and tax class 5 and the like. So there's no way you won't know how much your husband or your wife is earning, maybe even the figure or something like that. So there must be this communication. Okay, this is how much you're having this month, this is what you want to do, this is what we want to do, and this and that. So there must be this communication. And yeah, there shouldn't be need for like, okay, having a separate fund, we are hiding finances from each other. If that is out of the case, like if both couples are able to like come together and form or in terms of the finances, I believe there will be less of all these drama problem and a lot in our communities, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
And thank you for me.
Oh, thank you so much, guys.
Oh, Michael, my last
Starting
words,
it,
please.
go on,
Uh,
please.
I have just learned something today. Good to know that the divorce process, from the Lagos perspective that Tari shared, it's not very easy to divorce in Germany in particular. So it's a new learning for me today. And also, I think we need to improve on our cultural infrastructure from the African, as Africans in Europe. It's something we may want to look on, improve on the support system, and then so that we can protect our marriages. And then, yeah, there has to be a lot of more. We have to improve on our support system. Everybody should not be running on their own, flying on their own. Let's see how we can improve on the cultural infrastructure. That is what is going for our Asian counterparts and all that. So I really enjoyed today's session. Thank you so much for Tari and Israel for coming. Your insights have been very much eye-opening for me. Thank you so much, Michael.
Awesome. Thank you once more, guys, and I wish you all a nice Saturday and weekend, and go show some love out there, and let's keep talking about this, because I think we need to have more of this type of deep conversations and not the
Yeah.
superficial programs to solve migration related challenges, and they're just having one workshop,
Yeah.
seminar, whatever. and not really touching the real stuff. So
Yeah.
yeah, awesome. Well then,
Okay,
cheers,
thank
guys.
you. Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.